Welcome to the Sleep Health Workshop. You're probably wondering what I'm wearing here. These are some great resources we'll be talking about today. Number one is these here that you want to wear at night, which is blue light blocking glasses. We'll talk about how artificial light actually affects your sleep rhythms. And then having a dark room. Sometimes we don't always have dark rooms. I know in my house we have open windows and the moon shines through and everything else. So you wear a sleep mask. That can actually help make things dark. So these are some of the things that we have available. We'll be talking about here today. And really what we want to talk about is solving your sleep issues and how to get you more abundant energy through the end of this year and into next year. So who here came because they want to be sleeping better? Yes, you're in the right spot. And we're going to talk about a lot of people struggle with their sleep and even really tried a lot of things and not sleeping well, not waking up rested, not getting in deep sleep, not feeling recovered, because this is such a key aspect to living a health and wellness lifestyle. And our mission here is to empower you to live a healthy life naturally. We're not medical doctors. We don't treat or manage symptoms. We don't prescribe medications. We don't do shots or surgeries here. We're all about helping your body heal itself the way that it was designed. And we do that through natural drug-free solutions. That's what Chiropractic, our office, is all about, is about equipping you to be successful in your life so that your body does what it's designed to do, which is regulate normal health. Because that's, at the end of the day, what's healthy is working well, sleeping well, having energy. But when we talk about a couple of key things today is why most people, even though they try, don't get the solution that they want to their fatigue and sleep issues. And why many things that you're doing or may have been told actually don't fix your problems. Number two is, what is the actual root cause of sleep issues and how can you actively start making changes on that today? You'll leave here with action steps, resources to make a specific change in not just now, but in your future sleep as well. And then number three is, what are the solutions? What is the strategy that it's not just a temporary quick fix, but a real long-term solution? Does that sound good? All right, good stuff. So first, we want to go through, why do most approaches not work? And the reason why is because you're not getting to the real cause of why it's happening, right? Most things that are out there are all about treating the symptoms, right? What can help you fall asleep? What can help you wake up? What keeps you going through the day? What affects your stress? What affects your brain chemistry, right? There's all kinds of medications, over-the-counters, pills, potions, lotions, everything you can do. You probably used it, seen it, heard about it, that is affecting your sleep and your energy and everything else, right? These things do not work. Sometimes they work temporarily, but they don't fix why you're having the sleep problem in the first place. And that's exactly what you get from your doctor. They're just chasing symptoms. Just chasing symptoms, is that ever going to get you healthy? It's not. The only way to really get healthy is to get to the cause of the issue and be consistent with healthy habits. Did you know that sleep is actually one of the number one reasons why people go to their doctor or struggle with their health? As much as a third of the population struggles with sleep. Yeah, crazy, right? 70 million people in the United States alone have sleeping problems. 50% or more suffer from insomnia. So insomnia is when you're not going to sleep, you're waking up in the middle of the night, you're not getting that regular rest. 50% plus. Most adults snore, and a high number of people experience what's called sleep apnea, which is where you're waking up again throughout the period of the night, you're not breathing correctly, you're not getting deep quality sleep. So we want to help you solve all of these problems because sleep is our restorative process. Sleep is when your body heals. Just think about if you never turned your computer off, or you never stopped driving your car, or you never gave something a rest, it's always going to be less than. That's what happens when you're not sleeping. Lack of sleep equals disease. It's not just low energy, it's disease. If your body can't heal, it can't repair, it can't regenerate, it's going to break down. Right, this is what is one of the leading risk factors of heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, obesity, and many, many, many more. Now, I'm assuming none of you want to be dealing with these issues. Or if you are, how can I get things even better? Sleep is a big aspect of it, which is why we talk about it all the time. And one of the biggest things is, how much sleep do I actually need? There is a physiological amount of sleep that we all need depending on your age. Now, I've read and done a lot of research on this, and there's no shortcutting it. You always know when the person says, oh, I can get 5 hours sleep and I'm fine. You may feel fine, but you're not fine. And eventually it's going to catch up to you and it's going to cause a problem. So when we look at from early on, pregnancy, 8+ hours minimum, Adults, we need about 7 to 8 hours. 7 really is the minimum. Anything less than that, and you are sleep deficient, sleep deprived. 8 hours is good. You don't want to get too much. Adolescents, 9 to 10 hours, right? Your kids, 5 to 12, 9 to 11, 3 to 5, 11 to 13, 1 to 3, 12 to 15. So when you're young, a lot. I mean, remember when your kids were babies, they slept like the whole day, right? And when they get older, they still need that sleep. This is probably the problem years. As they get older and they want to stay up and watch TV, they want to be on their computer, they're doing homework, they want to talk to their friends online, whatever it is, right? Most adolescents and kids do not get the required amount of sleep. This is probably the biggest issue right here. It's probably more something like this. And kids are starting school at 7 a.m., 7:30. They're going to bed at 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? They're getting 6, 7 hours sleep at best. And right here, your brain and nervous system is still developing. It's not fully formed yet, right? That doesn't happen until you're in your early 20s. And then as an adult, we don't want to let this go either. 7 to 8 hours sleep, so ideal. Make this a priority. And your body works in a rhythm. Has anyone heard the circadian rhythm before? Yes. Circadian rhythm is so key. And this changes throughout different times of the year. As you can tell right now, a couple of months ago, it was still light outside, and now it's dark. So when you look at the rhythm, this is how it goes. Right? So when we go from the beginning of the day, 6 a.m. and on through this time, your body cycles. The hormones in your body start to change, and your sleep rhythms change. The best time to sleep is somewhere in here, right? Somewhere between about 9 and 6 a.m. That's the ideal time to sleep. That's when you get your deepest sleep. That's when you get your most recovery. That's when your body secretes what's called melatonin. Melatonin is your sleep hormone that actually puts your body in a state of rest, so you feel tired, you're able to go to sleep, and you're able to stay asleep throughout the night. And at this point here, midnight to 2 a.m. and beyond, this is when you get the deepest, most restorative sleep. You're never going to get this over here or over here, right? That's why people who work at night always end up having health concerns. That's why they call it the graveyard shift, because it's messing with your circadian rhythm. You're not supposed to be awake during the night. You're supposed to be asleep. That's how our bodies are cycled. There's actually a certain level of energy that comes from the moon and the sun, and there's a certain gravity within the earth that actually affects your sleep rhythms. So you want to follow a regular timeline as best as possible and have a consistent bedtime somewhere through here where you're going to get that maximum amount of sleep. We're going to talk a little bit more about the circadian rhythm later, but I want you to understand how vital this is, because this is what runs the cycles of your whole body. And there's all kinds of things that can disrupt this cycle and start affecting your sleep. This is the number one thing that we want to get back in balance, is your circadian rhythm. Now, your body's also really smart. And when things aren't working well and you're not getting proper sleep, there's going to be signs, there's going to be symptoms. Always remember that a symptom is a good thing. A symptom is telling you that, hey, there's a problem. It's like your oil light. It's coming on, something's out of balance, you need to get this checked, right? It doesn't mean cover up the sticker, turn off the light, unplug the sensor, right? That's what we do, right? That's what you do when you're taking a medication, when you're covering it up, right? When you're just taking melatonin pills or something like that. You're actually turning off that oil light, ignoring the real problem. And that's going to lead to more issues over time. So if you start to see your blood pressure goes up, that's a sign that maybe you're not sleeping well and you're not getting good restorative sleep. If you're having trouble focus or remembering things throughout the day, if you're reading something and you don't remember it all, or someone's talking to you and it just passes you right by, that's a good sign that you're not getting good restorative sleep. If you get sick too often, if you're like always getting the cold that's going around or the cough or the flu, and it always turns into a bigger issue, that's a good sign that you're not sleeping very good and you're not getting that restorative sleep that you need. If you sleep late on the weekends because you're trying to catch up from what you missed throughout the week and you feel like you're never getting enough sleep, that your blood sugar starts creeping up and you're in maybe pre-diabetic or diabetic range, is a good sign that you're not getting that proper digestion, which happens during sleep. Having trouble losing weight, right? Sleep actually affects your metabolism, which runs your energy throughout the day. You consume caffeine multiple times per day. Right? It's okay to have maybe 1 cup of coffee, but then you're needing that afternoon coffee. You're needing that afternoon energy drink. You're needing that pick-me-up throughout the day because you get these dips. That's a good sign that your sleep rhythms are out of balance. You can't stop hitting snooze. Right? That thing comes on and it's snooze, 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 snooze. That's a good sign that you're not getting enough sleep and you're not rested yet. You feel irritable or moody during the day. You guys probably all know this, right? Spouse, significant other, kids, whoever it may be. Oh, you must not have got enough sleep last night. So let's get to bed early tonight. These are just some of the signs, early signs, that you're not getting enough sleep. The long-term health consequences we already talked about. And like I mentioned, you got to listen to your body. Symptoms are so key and really what's going on. When you start getting in tune to your body and listen to what's going on and look for cause rather than treating or managing a symptom, you're going to go so far in your health, and it's going to change the way you view and manage your health, which is key to long-term success. So when we look at it here, a symptom is not an early thing. Symptoms are late-stage issues that are coming on. By the time you feel it, whether it's pain, a health issue, not sleeping, whatever it is, most of the time it's something that's been building up under the surface for weeks, months, years, sometimes even decades before the first signs and symptoms show up. So if you judge your health by how you look or how you feel, you're missing 90% of what goes on because you actually only feel 10% of what happens in your body. That's it, just 10%. Now over here, most of the time when you have the signs or symptoms, what do most people do? Yeah, usually you just ignore it, number one. You hope it goes away. I don't want to deal with this. I'm busy. There's a lot going on. Whatever it may be, I'm just going to hope it goes away. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And it keeps showing up. At first, usually it's here and there, comes and goes. It's not always immediately chronic all the time. It kind of builds its way up. But eventually, it does get bad enough to where it's like, well, maybe I should do something about this. Most people don't automatically go straight to their doctor. They go to the store. They look it up on Google. They look it up on Amazon. They ask a friend, like, oh, what have you been taking for this? And then they go and they get Advil, ibuprofen, this or that. Maybe sometimes it's a more natural type of process. It's an herb or it's something else to help with the symptoms. Like, I'm having this symptom. What can I do to get rid of this symptom? You see the mindset that goes into that? I want to get rid of the warning sign. Not what's causing this issue, how can I correct it, what's the underlying concern. Now, if you just mask the symptoms, but you don't fix why it's happening, logically it makes sense that that problem wouldn't resolve, correct? Yes. So then eventually it becomes more and more a problem, right? That's when you start developing dysfunction, that's when you start developing disease patterns, that's when you start seeing the warning signs we talked about. Blood pressure goes up, sleep isn't as good, weight goes up, immune system gets weaker, digestive system's off, stress systems are out of balance, hormones start getting out of balance, which leads to other issues, which typically for most people becomes more medications, more visits to the doctor, more diagnoses, still not even touching why the problems happen in the first place. And this is the problem with our modern medical system, is it just goes like this. No matter what you show up with, this is the pattern. Am I right? Is anybody experiencing anything different? No, just keeps going down this pattern. And the worst thing is, even if you start making good changes and you get back to here, this is where a lot of people stop doing the things that got them better. And this is where I really harp the most on people is, hey, once you're feeling better, the problem isn't fixed. You're just out of the red zone. That's it. You're just out of the red zone. You're not better. You're not healthy. You're just not acute anymore. You're not showing symptoms anymore. This is far from health. Health continues in the time you're feeling good. That's when health really happens. When you continue those habits, when you sleep well for months or years and you get cellular restoration, you slow down the aging process, you regenerate damaged tissue, you change your hormones, you overcome a major health concern. That happens in months, years, time of doing the good things that allows your body to do what it's designed to do, right? That doesn't just come in feeling better. And that's why health is a lifetime journey. It's something you keep working on, and all the things we talk about today are lifetime habits. They're not just until you feel better or you get a little bit more energy or you're sleeping better habits. They are forever habits if you want to be healthy. I think that's the most important thing. If you take nothing else away from what we talk about today or any other event we ever do, it's that health does not end. It doesn't end when you feel better. It doesn't end when the symptom goes away. It doesn't end when the diagnosis goes away. It's something you keep working on. Does that make sense? That's so, so important. And so when you start thinking about your health in a different way, that healthy is normal. I'm supposed to be healthy. That's what's normal. You start taking different action. If you think I'm supposed to be sick because of my genetics, because of my age, because of my family history, because of a diagnosis, how empowering is that? It's not. And you stop trying to be better because you've just accepted, well, this is just what it is. But when you know your body's supposed to be healthy and that it's smart and that it can heal, you have hope. You have optimism. You start taking different action. You start doing different things. And that's what leads to a better outcome. So it starts with asking the right questions and then understanding, well, where does health actually come from? If we're looking at cause, what controls everything else in your body? It's your nervous system. That's the master controller. It's your brain. It's your spinal cord. It's the nerves that go to every cell, tissue, organ in your body, as you can see here. This is what regulates everything that happens in your body. And your spine is like a suit of armor that protects that. And because our life is now unnaturally stressful, there's constant stress of the spine on the nervous system that interferes with the normal healthy function of your body, which leads to dysfunction and disease over time, not just symptoms. And so when you look at it from this premise, you start addressing your health in a different way. So we're going to talk about many of the things that you can start doing right now that's going to improve your sleep. So if you're taking notes, you want to write these down. One of the most important things is get your body moving. Have you ever had a day where you worked really hard and you were busy and moving? Did you have any problems going to sleep that night? No. You're like, hit the pillow, boom, I'm out, ready to go, right? Because you worked hard, you moved your body, right? A day where you sat around watching TV or behind a computer all day, right? Maybe you're tired at the end of the night, but your brain's still going. It's still not ready for that sleep because you didn't really actually do anything that day. You use mental power, but you didn't use any physical power. Our bodies are designed to move. Physiology happens when you move. Research show that if you get at least 150 minutes of exercise a week, you improve your quality of sleep by 65%. 65%. Right? That's going for a walk. That's doing an activity that you enjoy. That could be pickleball. That could be swimming. That could be riding horses. That could be, going for a walk. That could be going to the gym. Whatever you like to do, that's exercise where you're getting your heart rate up and you're moving your body 150 minutes a week. Now we have 168 hours in the week and we're all busy. We all have a lot going on. Does anybody not have 150 minutes they could fit in their week? No, that's not that much. You break that down to 7 days. Was that like 20 minutes a day?
21 something.
Yeah, that's not a lot. 20 minutes a day, you can do it. Another one, don't eat before you go to bed at night. I've been tracking my sleep for a while, and if you really want to improve your sleep, I recommend you get some type of a sleep tracker. You can do Whoop, you can do Apple Watches, you can do Oura Rings. There's all kinds of stuff, but it gives you valuable information. So I've been experimenting with this for a couple of years. Anytime I eat something late at night, what you'll see is your heart rate will go up and your body temperature will go up. And that's a direct sign in your recovery, which means you're not getting good quality sleep because your digestive system is working. Your body's working to process and digest that food. It takes hours to digest food. So you really shouldn't be eating any major meals at least 3 hours before you go to bed. Especially if you have any issues like GERD, digestive issues, sleep apnea, any of these concerns, sleep is going to be highly interrupted by eating with any of those problems. You also want to avoid sugar because sugar makes it even worse. Sugar disrupts this circadian rhythm. So anything like fruit, juice, dessert, refined carbohydrates, those are all going to drastically affect the quality of your sleep that night. So don't do these at all before you go to bed because you'll see that you're not going to get restful sleep and you're not going to wake up feeling good. Also, alcohol is a big one, right? If you've ever, again, tracked this and you look at what happens on those nights, it even says in the Aura, says like most people have the worst sleep on Sunday of the week because they were out partying on Saturday night. Yeah, they were out drinking. They went out to dinner. They went to whatever. And by far, that's the lowest recovery day of the week when they studied hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that are using this type of stuff. Also, caffeine. If you drink caffeine, even as late as afternoon, what it does, it keeps your brain awake. What caffeine actually does, it doesn't give you energy. It blocks the part of your brain that tells you that you're tired, is really what it does. And so it keeps your body from getting into that sleep rhythm where it's secreting melatonin, calming down, moving into a parasympathetic state. So if you're drinking too much caffeine, you're going to have more difficulty falling asleep. Also, things that come in chocolate, wine, cheese, what's called tyramine. It's a food that keeps you awake. So avoiding these types of foods, alcohol, sugar, caffeine, chocolate, wine, cheese, at least 2 hours before you go to sleep is going to help you get more restorative sleep. Sometimes people say, oh, I'll have a glass of wine to help me sleep. It doesn't help you sleep, right? A nightcap isn't a real thing. It's going to make your sleep worse, lower quality of sleep, and you're going to wake up not feeling any better at all. Another thing is the light and dark exposure. This is part of the circadian rhythm. So one of the things that really sets your circadian rhythm is getting light, natural light, first thing in the morning. So if you can get out as close to the time when the sun comes up and get outside in the actual sun without sunglasses and get that sunlight, It's actually starting the process of the circadian rhythm for that day. It's helping with your sleep rhythm. That's why it's so important for a long time, people got up and went to sleep with the sun for the most part. But now we have artificial light, we have all these other things that doesn't really happen. But still, if you're here in the morning, get up in the morning and get out in the sun before you turn on your computer screen, turn on your TV, turn on the lights in your house. You want to make sure that you're getting natural sunlight because that starts their circadian rhythm. And we'll go into it in a little bit why that's so important for the stress rhythms, your metabolism, your digestion. And then at night, you want to turn the lights down and get rid of the exposure of artificial light as early as possible. That's why we have things like the blue light glasses, right? Certain types of blue light glasses actually block these artificial lights because blue light mimics the sun. So if you're watching TV, if you're on your cell phone, if you're on your computer, if you have lights all on all over the house, your brain, your body still thinks it's daytime. And it doesn't make sense to fall asleep in the middle of the day, so it keeps your brain up. So you want to turn down lights and lamps. These blocking glasses really help. You can get red light screens on your phone, on your computer, monitors, things like that to help calm down that blue light. And that really helps the process of secreting melatonin. So melatonin doesn't get secreted in light. It gets secreted in darkness. Now it doesn't get to be pitch dark. You don't got to sit there in the dark from like 7 o'clock until you go to bed, but you want to reduce as much of the light as possible. So that way your brain thinks, okay, it's nighttime. I secrete that melatonin. That's also really good for your immune system, big part of detoxing in your body. And that's what starts the sleep rhythm. So that way you can get into that good restful sleep. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Also getting out midday. If you can get out in the sun somewhere in the middle of the day for 10, 15 minutes, that also helps with that circadian rhythm. So first thing in the morning, middle of the day, then get those lights down towards the end of the day. And if you can't get a pitch dark room, that's when you get something like a sleep mask. That's why we have these. Because when it's dark, it keeps you asleep. One of the reasons why people wake up is because during REM sleep, there's actually rapid eye movement, your eyes open up a little bit. And if there's light, your eyes open up and think, okay, it's daytime, it's time for me to wake up. And that's a big reason why people wake up at some point in the night, because they got some kind of light in the room, they got a digital alarm clock right there, they got lights going on, the TV's still on, whatever it is, it wakes you up. So now you're up, it's 2, 3 a.m., like, why am I up right now? And then you're trying to go back to sleep. That's part of what wakes you up. You also want to make sure that you have a good bed and that your bed is made. This was surprising to me, 19% better sleep on average if you make your bed before you go to sleep. Because I don't know why, but that's what the research shows.
Make it before you go to sleep?
Well, like when you wake up, right? So it's made when you go to sleep. Also, the type of mattress you have really matters for the quality of your sleep. This is so, so important. So when it comes to your sleep technology, we spend as much as a third of your life asleep. So it makes sense to invest in the quality mattress and sleep technology that you have, right? We spend however much on cars and houses and all these different things. People buy, $8,000 e-bikes and stuff like that. But then when it comes to a bed, not getting a good quality. Most good beds should last you like 10 years if you get the right ones. So there's a couple things you want to look for. Number one is, how do you sleep? So if you sleep primarily on your back, you want a firmer type of bed because it's more supportive for your spine and for your body. If you sleep more on your side, then you want more of a medium type of a mattress because it's going to allow pressure points on your hips and on your shoulders and on your neck. If you switch between both, you want something that's somewhere in the middle, and that's where a memory foam mattress is really good, is because it's going to be more adaptable to what's going on with you. Some of the worst, like the old spring beds, those are pressure points all over the place. Water beds are the absolute worst. Those are no good at all. Air mattresses, if you ever slept on one of those, not supportive. Maybe okay for a night or two, but certainly not what you want to do regularly. You also want to pay attention to the breathability of the mattress. So a lot of mattresses, almost all mattresses, have flame retardants that are sprayed on them now. And they have, if you've looked at a lot of the old ones, they have that, whatever the felt kind of top is. Those don't breathe at all. So it makes your body really hot. And if your body temperature goes up, even 1 or 2 degrees, it significantly disrupts your sleep. So you want to have something that is breathable. So we use BioPosture, which is made of Ciliant. So if you know what Ciliant is, it helps with breathability of the texture itself. It maintains your body temperature and adapts to what's going on around it. And it also keeps your body cool throughout the night. It improves blood flow. The memory foam is what helps get you into the right posture and keep your body supported all throughout the night. That's for good inflammation. This decreases the pain and temperature that you get in there. Also, what's good about biopostures, you can get them completely toxic free. A lot of memory foams are made in a very toxic process, especially like Tempur-Pedic beds. And that leaches into you throughout the night and can actually lead to toxicity. So when you have a bed that's non-toxic, that doesn't have flame retardants, it doesn't have these other things, you're not toxifying your body when you're going to sleep. Now there's other sleep technology that people use. People use Faraday technology, which blocks any EMF from going in or around your body. So if you have cell phone, Wi-Fi, computer, internet, anything at all, that's creating electromagnetic frequency. And that electromagnetic frequency disrupts your body rhythms. And some people are more susceptible to this than others. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you've tried a lot of these things, try turning off your Wi-Fi at night. Try putting your phone on airplane mode or taking technology out of your room completely so it's not in there. Sometimes you have these smart things going on around. That's where the Faraday products, you can get a blanket or you can get sheets or other things that you can put over you that blocks all of the EMF from getting to your body, which is really cool technology. You can also put grounding mats under your bed or in your sheets. Yes, this is what it does. The same thing. It helps balance out your body, right? That's like your feet are on the earth, and that actually helps with your sleep rhythm. One of the best things you can do if you're going to a different country and you have jet lag is go walk around barefoot on the grass or on the sand, because it actually resets your circadian rhythm based upon the balance in the earth. That's what the grounding does. So that's one of the best things you can do when you go travel is get out and go barefoot in that area to reduce that jet lag and get you back in that sleep rhythm as quick as possible. So these are technologies that you can utilize. Some are more than others. Some of these are very inexpensive. Some can be quite costly, but it's worth it when it improves the quality of your sleep. So the best sleep position. So we talk about this a lot, and there's a lot of sleep positions, right? As we all know, right? They have different names. Some of you maybe sleep on your back, on your side, on your stomach, right? What do you think the best way to sleep is? So a lot of people, the back, yes, is good, but the actual best way to sleep that physiologically shows it's going to help the most is sleeping on your side. So sleeping on your side, but in a neutral posture, right? You don't want to do this, or even this here. What you want to do when you're sleeping on your side is you should have your body completely neutral and a pillow between your legs. That keeps everything in alignment. Your hands and arms and legs are all in alignment. Your body's the most rested. Now you can lay on your back as well. That's the second best. When you lie on your back, especially if you're using your sleep rolls in your neck and your lower back, because that's helping align your spine. But the problem is a lot of people when they're on their back, they tend to move around and they'll move to different types of positions. The absolute worst is sleeping on your stomach because you're twisting your neck and your spine, and it's actually disrupting the blood flow to your brain and then the nerve supply to the rest of your body. So if you can, sleep on your side with those good supportive pillows. They make knee pillows and a pillow that actually fits the size of your shoulder to your head. So pillow technology is also really important. You want to make sure it fits you, because there's all kinds of pillows out there and a lot of them work, but they may not necessarily work for you. So you have to figure out what works best for you, and sometimes even try a couple of different ones. That's another thing I really like about BioPosture is they'll let you try anything for up to 90 to 120 days, and if it doesn't work for you, you can send it back. So if the mattress doesn't work, the pillow doesn't work, whatever, send it back, they'll get you a new one. Because you may need to try a couple before you find the right one. And the ones I like the most are the ones that are double contoured, where you could sleep on your back and on your side. So if you sleep on your back, it's got a curve specifically for your neck and supports your head and shoulders. But if you sleep on your side, it goes up higher. So now it's going to support you in this distance from here to here, because both of those are different sizes. I even started taking my pillows to me when I go to hotels, because most of the time hotels have those big fluffy, down pillows, and that's actually part of the selling point. But those are the worst for you, because the whole time your head's like this or like this, and you wake up, it's like, oh, my neck is sore, I didn't sleep very good last night. So it's easy to take those memory foams and just suck them down and toss them in your bag. Right? One of the easiest things you can do to get more restful sleep when you're out of town, on vacation, because we've all been there before, right? Have a couple of bad nights sleep, not feeling your best, coming home, and you should be like rejuvenated, but you're tired. And the first thing you want to do is go take a nap. Here's a big one, big one, pets and kids in beds. One of the biggest interferences with sleep. 53% of pet owners who sleep with their pets experience sleep disruption. 80% of parents with kids notice sleep disruption. Now there's times when maybe this is something that you need to do for a period of time. With kids maybe, not necessarily with pets. But as soon as you can, change that situation. because it's absolutely affecting the quality of your sleep. Right? You ever sleep next to a pet? They're hot, they move around, right? It's super, super disruptive to you and to them. And then kids are the same thing, right? I remember we used to sleep with our kids when they were really little, and it's like, they got the sliver of the bed, and then the kid's like this, you're like, what's going on here? This is not right. And why am I tired every single day? And it's a real thing that leads to real problems over time. So make your sleep a priority, clear your sleep space. It should be a sleep sanctuary. The only thing you should be doing in your sleep space is sleeping. Don't put a bunch of stuff in there. Don't put a TV in there. Don't put all your arts and crafts in there. It's the sleep sanctuary, and set it up as such, and you'll get so much better sleep in that space. Also, temperature really matters. The ideal temperature for sleep is between 60 and 67 degrees, right? You would think, some people might think that's really cold. Others may think that seems kind of warm. But this is the ideal all times of the year. So right now during the winter, this is where it should be. During the summer, this is where it should be. Because anything hotter than that, it'll raise your body temperature. If your body temperature raises, you don't get good sleep, right? You've probably ever woken up hot and you're like, oh, what's going on? Kick the blankets off, right? It wakes you up. And when you track with these here, 1 to 2 degrees is all it takes to take you out of your sleep rhythm and wake you up. That's it. So setting it for the right temperature makes a big difference. And so does timing. So what you don't want to do is like Monday I go to bed at this day, and Tuesday I go to bed at this day, and on the weekends I go to bed at midnight and I wake up at 8. Because when you're in an inconsistent sleep rhythm, it messes with that circadian rhythm, right? So you want to have a pretty consistent, like within an hour of the times that you go to bed. Again, you're going to have exceptions. You're out one time, you're out of town, it's a holiday, whatever it may be. You're going to have a night where you stay up later or whatever it may be, but you don't want to have it super inconsistent. 8 o'clock this night, 10 o'clock this night, 8 o'clock the next night, midnight that night, 2 a.m. another day later, because your body starts getting confused and it doesn't know when you're going to sleep, and it starts messing with those sleep rhythms. And what I found too, even 1 or 2 nights bad sleep could take 1 to 2 weeks to recover from, to get you back to what would be the healthy baseline. That's what I found just in research that I've done personally and that I've done with other people who I know are tracking the same. It's like when you have one of those 2 bad nights, it takes that long to get you back in the healthy rhythm. So it's not like, oh, I'll catch up on it tomorrow. It literally takes 1 to 2 weeks. And that's why people who have insomnia, where it's multiple nights per week they're not getting sleep, has such a huge effect, because now you're talking, it could be months or years before you get your body back in that rhythm again. It takes time. So keep a schedule, do the best you can, right? Try to keep it within 1 to 2 hours within what you're normally doing and not go outside of that range. It's going to help you so much in your sleep rhythms, because poor nighttime practices create poor sleep. So what you do at night before you go to bed has a lot to do with the quality of your sleep. So you want to set the mood. So we already talked about this. Dim the lights, turn off the artificial lights, pop on those blue light glasses, turn off as many distractions as possible. Don't have a lot of loud music, TVs, don't have real stimulating type of things going on. Turn off YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is that keeps you going. And, episode after episode, Netflix. So now you went to go to bed at 9 and it's 1 a.m. and you're like, oh man, I watched the whole season. I was supposed to go to bed. Or we've all been there before. Keep it quiet, right? Start slowing your mind down. Like, this is the time where it's like, okay, it's my time to go to sleep. Let's wind it down. Good time for personal reflection, good time for gratitude, good time for journaling, maybe reading a book. Whatever it is for you that kind of calms you down is going to help with that sleep rhythm cycle. And there should be a process. A lot of people have a morning routine, I found. They have a morning routine. I get up, I do this, I get that. But not a lot of people have a night routine. Night routine is kind of just like, I do whatever and then I fall asleep when sleep time comes. And if that's your rhythm, maybe that's the thing you need to change, is let's create a routine. It's like, what does my nighttime look like? What do I want to do? What would ideal be for me? And it's not going to be ideal every day, but you want to get it ideal as much as possible. And you'll find that you start getting a lot better sleep. And when you start getting better sleep, you start to appreciate feeling good on a regular basis, and you make sleep more of a priority. Sometimes you can do something like relaxing with a bath or a shower. Epsom salt bath really helps. You can use things like essential oils and other herbal type of remedies that can help you get in a more relaxing state. You may not be able to do this every day, but doing it every once in a while does really make a difference. And one of the biggest ones is put that phone down. Get rid of that thing. That is keeping you up. Maybe it's you're scrolling on Facebook or you're reading an article, or you're shopping online, whatever it is. it's keeping your brain awake. From the light to the stimulation, everything. It's telling your brain we're still in peak time. We're still in work time. It's daytime right here. Not time for us to go to bed. It can be really disrupting. And a lot of times maybe it's you're getting bad news. You're scrolling the wrong things, right? Whatever it is, I would really work on eliminating this and having a period of time, ideally an hour before you go to bed, where there's no devices that you're using. Same thing if you have kids, it should be at least 2 hours because that's part of what keeps you up and keeps you going. So if you can turn off those devices, just set it, hey, 8 o'clock, phone goes off. 7 o'clock, iPad goes off, whatever it is. For a while there, I had to set my TV where it automatically went off at 9 o'clock, like just shut off. The Wi-Fi shuts off, TV shuts off. Yeah. Well, then you got to plug it back in. You got to wait for it to reset. And usually by then you're over it. You're like, okay, I'm done, right? And that's the idea. It takes you out of the rhythm. Because when you're sitting there in the rhythm, it's sometimes hard to stop, right? And most things now are designed to keep you engaged. Everything from social media to TV to movies, everything, it's about sucking you into the next one. That's the whole reason it's designed that way. When you have a break, even if you're like, oh, I'm going to turn it back on, right? By the time everything comes back on, you're like, okay, I'm just going to go to bed, right? That's what it is. You want to have a disrupt. So some people, it takes that to be able to do it. I've had times where I had to turn the TV off for like a whole month. Like, we're not even watching TV for a month just to get out of the rhythm. So sometimes you need a technology detox to help with the sleep rhythm. And then you'll find other things to do. If you're just sitting there bored, like, well, maybe I will read a book. Maybe you should play a game. Maybe we'll start something else, right? Take away the distraction that's keeping you up, and you'll see that you'll automatically put in another rhythm. You're not just going to sit there doing nothing. You'll figure something out. So we talked about at the beginning, healthy is normal, but are you living within a healthy way? If you're living unnaturally, which a lot of people do because life is fast-paced, it's busy, it's filled with stress. We're constantly being asked to do more with less. And when you're constantly going and your mind isn't able to relax, it's hard to sleep. So having these sleep practices makes a big difference. Here's 3 main sleep problems. Number 1 is you just have a problem sleeping, right? Problem just going to sleep for whatever reason. Either you don't feel tired, you're distracted, your mind's still going. So you want to create rhythms around getting better sleep. Many of the things that we already talked about here today, if we just started doing some of those in that night rhythm, is going to help this first one. This is level 1. This is habitual. You can fix this. Number 2 is I actually have a legitimate sleep problem. So that means, hey, I'm doing all the right stuff, but I'm not waking up rested. I'm not getting in deep sleep. I'm not getting good REM sleep. I'm, constantly waking up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and I don't really know why. So now you have an actual issue, and we're going to talk about some of those things in just a minute. And then eventually you get to a clinical sleep problem. So this is actually diagnosed sleep apnea. This is diagnosed insomnia, where you have like a legitimate physiological reason why you're not getting good sleep. This can be corrected too. It just takes a little bit more work, right? This is the easiest, but what leads to this, if you don't take care of it, this takes a little bit more work and has some physiology and lifestyle habits and even functional change that needs to happen, but will get better. This will become this if you don't take care of it. So that's why it's important to listen to your body, right? Pay attention to those signs and symptoms and start taking care of it as soon as possible. One of the biggest impacts in sleep is stress. Stress affects every part of your body, but it especially affects your sleep. You guys ever had those stressful days? How easy is it to go to sleep that night? Not so easy, right? Are you having a rough week, or something's going on, a friend or family member is struggling with something? You're thinking about it, right? You're trying to go to sleep and you can't. That's stress. Stress takes your body from a state of relaxation, which is parasympathetic, to a state of fight or flight. Fight or flight is survival. You can't sleep in survival, right? If you're fighting for your life, you don't just suddenly fall asleep. That's not normal. You don't feel tired in those times. What do you feel like? Higher heart rate, more alert, more vibrant, right? That could be scrolling through Facebook and seeing the wrong thing. That could be watching the news before you go to bed at night. That could be reading your email and boom, problem comes up, oh man, are you looking at your to-do list for tomorrow and you're already stressed about something that hasn't even happened yet? So you're putting your body in sympathetic just by your habits. There could also be health reasons why you would consistently be in this sympathetic zone, which even if you're doing the right stuff, you're still not getting the sleep that you want because your nervous system's stuck here. What we want to get to is parasympathetic. That's rest, relax, regeneration, repair. This is where healing happens, and this is what's supposed to happen when you sleep. So ideally, your body goes out of stress into relaxation, And that's when you get that good quality type sleep. You wake up feeling rested. You're not sore, tired. You're doing what you're supposed to do. So when you're not getting sleep, unfortunately, this perpetuates this cycle. So if you're already stressed and then now you're not sleeping because you're stressed, that's actually going to make your body more stressed. That's the bad news. If the cycle continues, it perpetuates itself and it becomes this negative cycle that creates more and more problems. That's why we need to break the cycle. And here's how that works. So the number one stress hormone is called cortisol. And this is the normal pattern of what cortisol is supposed to do. This is why the circadian rhythm is so important. So when we look at cortisol, it's highest at a couple peak times during the day. The highest time is in the middle part of the day, right? That's around 11 to noon. That's why it's important to get out in the sun. Because when you're getting out in the sun, you're telling your body, hey, I'm at the peak of the day. It keeps your cortisol levels high where it's supposed to be, because this is what keeps your body going. This is when you want your sympathetic nervous system to be going really well. How many people have that midday dip where they're tired in the middle part of the day? That's because this whole system is out of balance. It many times gets backwards. It's really high over here. That's why you're not sleeping. And then it peaks down here and you get really tired, but then you get a little bit of a heightened energy towards the end of the day. That's the first step in the stress burnout process. It's called tired and wired. So like the parts of the day we are supposed to be going and happy and healthy and thriving, you're tired and worn down. Then it's like, oh, I can't wait to go to bed at night. But then nighttime comes, you're like, man, I'm not even tired. I'm not ready to go to sleep. I want to stay up. That's because this system is out of balance. The stress rhythms, the circadian rhythms in your body are not working normally. So your systems are not getting the right signals and not working well. The second one is when it just goes like this and just poof, stays down here, right? That's adrenal burnout. That's when you've been in stress for so long that your body just doesn't even happen to recover anymore. This is chronic fatigue, this is fibromyalgia, this is major health concerns, right? This just is down here. It's just not even working anymore. That's a big problem. That takes a long time to correct. But even that can be balanced, and sleep is a big part of that. So no matter where you are and how you feel, again, listen to your body. If you're starting to see like, hey, I wake up and I'm still really tired, that means that this is probably still really high. Or if I'm tired in the middle of the day, this probably starts to get low. If I'm not going to sleep at night, you're getting too much stress here. So based upon this, we actually create different types of lifestyle type of habits. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're still tired, you want to do things that get your body up and moving as quickly as possible. So that means do some exercise, get outside in the sun, do things that are stimulating. That's not a good time to sit there and journal and read and relax. If you wake up and you're tired, you need to move your body as quickly as possible. You need to get your heart rate up. You need to get your body moving, right? The fastest way to change your physiology is through physical movement. So get up in there, jog in place, jump on a trampoline, go outside, go for a walk, whatever it is. You want to get your heart rate up. You want to stimulate that response. That's going to get you to be going more earlier in the day so you get this boost that's supposed to come up, right? Because this is when you're waking up. You should wake up like, boom, ready to go. That's what's supposed to happen. If you're stuck down here, that means it's out of balance. But the problem is, what if you went to bed right here, right, 2, 3, 4 a.m., and you're supposed to be waking up here, but you're sleeping through it, and now you're waking up somewhere over here, right? This is going to peak down lower, right? And sometimes you get too much sleep. You ever slept for like 10 hours and you're like super tired? Like, what's going on? I got a ton of sleep last night. That's because you're already passing the cycle of where it should go. Now, if you do notice, same thing in the middle of the day, if you're just like really tired, again, get outside, move your body, do physiology. Don't reach for another cup of coffee. Don't get a 5-hour energy drink, whatever. Try to avoid the stimulants because the stimulants works in the opposite way of this. So if you do want to get some natural stimulants, you can maybe do something like green tea, green coffee extract, some things along those lines, but try to avoid as much caffeine as possible and the stimulants in the middle part of the day. You want to get your body moving, which will kickstart this back up, and then you want to slow down that rhythm at night. Now at night, if you notice I'm more wired, right? And you're up here, that's when you want to do the calming things. That's when the warm bath can be really helpful. That's when some meditation can be really helpful because now we're doing the opposite. We want to calm down that system. So listen to your body. Depending on where you see these peaks and valleys, that's outside of this normal rhythm, you can actually make lifestyle changes that over time will change these patterns. And we can help guide you through this process. We've helped a lot of people with this. And there's ways to actually test for this too, to know where am I, what does my cortisols look like throughout the day. But this is not usually the first place to start. This is if you've already been doing a number of things and it's still out of rhythm. Just by the things we talked about already, if you start doing those, you're going to be getting better sleep for 80% of people. But there's still a 20% that there's other issues going on. And we're going to talk about some of those things too. One of the big sleep issues is physical sleep problems. I don't sleep because I'm in pain. I don't sleep because I have sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, thoracic outlet syndrome. My hands go numb when I try to sleep. My legs won't stop bothering me. These are real physiological problems. These can be helped too. For some people, it's just, I don't feel good, so I don't get good sleep. So when we look at what we want to do is minimize the stresses, right? That's always the goal. How can we get rid of as much stress as possible? That's what the 5 essentials is all about. How do we start taking care of our body better? How do we eat better? Change our mindset, move the body, and minimize toxicity. This is the foundation of everything we do. That's the 5 essentials. So when you're looking at cause, I always ask myself, well, where in the 5 essentials am I falling short? Have I been not doing my home care? Have I been not paying attention to my posture? Have I been missing my adjustments, right? Is my spine and nervous system out of balance? Have I fallen off track a little bit with my nutrition? Am I eating late at night? Am I, doing more of the processed foods? Have I been eating out more often, going to more holiday parties, right? Extending Thanksgiving to a week after versus just one day. These are questions you want to ask yourself. Have I fallen a little bit off track, right? Am I still doing the healthy mindset things? Am I doing my breathing, my meditation? Am I doing my gratitude? Am I doing my journaling? Have I had strain in my relationships or things going on in my life? How am I addressing that? Right? Have I fallen back on my exercise routine? Not been hitting the gym as much? It's been cold. I used to walk in the morning, but now I don't, and haven't replaced that with something else, right? Has my toxicity gotten a little bit out of balance? All these things are part of your life strategy that go up and down over time. One of the most important is your spine. The spine, like we talked about, suit of armor. It protects your brain and nervous system. It regulates this whole thing. It is the key foundation of all function in your body. It's something that almost no other doctor looks at, and most people don't pay attention until it doesn't work. But it's the most foundational area of your entire body. That's everything we focus on. And the cause of many health issues is subluxation. When your spine gets out of its normal alignment, right, that's not just a joint issue or a muscle problem. That creates nerve irritation. And those nerves, they go and they regulate other parts of your body. Now, when your spine gets unhealthy enough, you start to get physiological damage. You get disc thinning, you get disc herniations, disc bulging, and this just starts affecting your nerves. And number one, it elevates stress hormones. So if your spine is unhealthy, it actually puts your nervous system in a state of stress, sympathetic fight or flight. And when you get in that state of stress, it's going to affect your sleep. It's going to affect the quality of your energy. It's going to affect the physiology of the organs and systems in your body. And there's no stretch or exercise or nutrition plan that's going to fix that. You have to actually go in there and change your spine. That's what the chiropractic adjustment does. And that's what corrective care is all about. It's about optimizing the health of your spine, because that can take you out of stress, that can improve joint function, can reduce pain, and now you're sleeping better. One of the most common things people tell me in their first month or two of care is, I'm sleeping better. I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. I'm already starting to notice all these physiological changes. Like, that's what's expected, because you're taking your body out of this fight or flight stress situation where your spine's unhealthy and breaking down to a more relaxed parasympathetic situation where the spine's getting healthier, less inflammation, better mobility, easier to get good sleep. So subluxation causes nerve irritation and interference in your body's ability to regulate normal systems, including your sleep rhythm, how your body adapts to stress. That's what your nervous system does. So we're all under stress, but what if you adapted to stress better than everybody else around you? Are you going to be healthier or sicker? Going to be healthier, right? Yeah. Your ability to adapt to stress is a key vital aspect in your health journey. And that's what your nervous system does. So if you can get your spine healthy, your ability to adapt to stress goes up. Now, subluxation also interferes with brain neurology. It affects cortisol. It affects your stress hormones. It affects chemicals in your brain, neurotransmitters, your mood. All these things are affected through your spine. And one of the fastest way to change your brain is to change the physiology of your spine. Even with a single adjustment, you're changing the chemicals that are happening in your brain. And over time, you can change the patterns of your brain through what's called neuroplasticity. That's repetition over time, which is why we have people come in consistently. And it's not just come in once a month or every 6 months or when your back hurts. That doesn't change your brain physiology. That doesn't change the structure of your spine. If you just come in when it hurts, you're at the very, very bottom of what's possible with that. It's the consistency over time that changes what's going on with the brain and nervous system, and that's where the health benefits come from, right? And that's what really gets me excited about chiropractic. So when we talk about issues like sleep apnea, this is a big problem. If you or anyone you know has sleep apnea, does anybody love wearing the Darth Vader mask when they go to sleep? No. Does your partner love that thing in there? Probably not, right? It's not great. But if you have sleep apnea, that's a real clinical sleep problem. You're not breathing when you sleep, you're waking up, and you're not getting restful sleep. This is an actual problem. And so what we have found is when you lose the curve in your neck, it actually closes down your throat. It interferes with your sinuses and the glands of your throat, and it's the direct nerve supply that regulates your heart and your lungs. So if you have subluxation at C1 to C3, which is the top part of your spine, or C6 to C7, which is the bottom part of your spine, this is contributing to sleep apnea. It's affecting how you sleep and how you breathe. If you have a loss of curve in your neck, which most people do, and we've probably gone over your x-rays, then this is contributing to what's going on. I've had many people reverse sleep apnea and not have to use that anymore once we fix what's going on in the neck. But no doctor that you ever go to in your sleep study is going to say, let's take an x-ray of your neck to see what's going on, right? Unless there's something like lodged in there or a tumor, right? They're going to say you're fine. And then you're just diagnosed with this thing for the rest of your life, right? Is there, for anyone that's ever used it or had it, is there ever like a, oh, we're going to try this for 6 months and see if we can get off of it? Nope. It's like, this is what you do now. This is for the rest of your life. And that's the problem with every medical diagnosis is there's no end. It's like, oh, you have high blood pressure? You have high blood pressure forever. You're just going to have to take this drug for the rest of your life. Oh, you have high cholesterol? We're just going to take this forever. Like there's never an end. Diabetes, you're on diabetic medications for the rest of your life. That's it. There's no end like, oh, let's see, let's fix this, let's do that, let's see what's causing it. Nope. It's just, this is just you now. And this is the same thing without ever looking at what's going on. What if we change the neurology and how all these nerves are communicating with this area? Would it make sense why you could probably start breathing better? If you opened up the airways and passages in your nose and in your throat, you could start breathing better. And your body's not in a stress state anymore where it's fight or flight all the time. Your breathing rate's going to actually start to balance out and you're going to breathe better and you're going to get more restful sleep. So if you know somebody who has sleep apnea, encourage them, hey, have you been checked by a chiropractor? Have you gotten an x-ray of your neck to see if there's maybe something interfering with your nervous system that could be leading to your sleep problem? What about thoracic outlet syndrome? This is when you get numbness and tingling in your hands and arms when you sleep. Right? There's a lot of reasons why this could happen, but there's multiple compression points. So when we look at the spine itself, some of the main compression points is actually going to be your middle back. So a lot of people have very tight and tense middle back because they're like this. Right? Maybe they've had a job sitting their whole life, or they've had traumas or injuries or just poor posture. That whole middle back is locked up. And that's a big part of the sympathetic nervous system. And this will actually regulate a lot of the blood supply and nerve supply into your upper extremities. Now also it can be compressed right through here in your neck. So you have a rib that comes through here, the first rib. Sometimes people have an extra rib that's in there, and it compresses the nerves that actually pass through here that go down into your arm. It can be compressed right here. So at your clavicle, or I don't know what the other name is for it, but this area here, collarbone, right? That's what people call it. That can compress the same nerves, or the muscles in here, your pec muscles get really tight. So if you're like this, your pec muscles get really tight, and now they're compressing the blood supply, the nerve supply that's going down in your arms. And now if you're sleeping like this, right, or like this, or you're sleeping on your like this, you're closing it down even more. You're closing this down, which is affecting this whole area. That's when it could be really good to sleep on your back, because now you're opening up your chest, you're opening up your neck, and you're taking a lot of the compression off of there. So sometimes, even if you are a side sleeper, you tend to go in these directions. Now they have special side sleeping pillows and things where you can put your arms in, but I find a lot of people, they end up sleeping like this or whatever it may be. So you're actually increasing the compression on this entire area. Also, what you really want to do, and this is why we give you home care, this is where you want to go through and work on your posture and stretch your pec muscles and open up your neck and traction out your upper back. So now you're releasing all that stress and tension. And for a lot of people, that issue with your arm going to sleep, because nobody likes waking up and their arms like dead rock, right? And then it goes to that numbness and tingling phase, and then it really hurts. And then it's like, this is no good. Or maybe you're getting cramping while you're sleeping. That's a good indication that you're dehydrated, mineral deficient going on. So that's when you'll look at electrolytes. Are you getting enough water throughout the day? Right? Nobody loves that either. The calf's cramped and you wake up and you're like, and you got to stand up to let it calm down. And then it takes another 30 minutes to go back to sleep. Right? These are real physiological issues that affect your sleep. So if it's something that comes up more often, more than once a couple times a year, then it's a concern that needs to be addressed. And you want to make sure, again, getting an x-ray. What does my mid-back look like? Is this tight and stiff, or is it moving functionally and I'm getting proper nerve supply all through here? Restless leg syndrome. So this could be just numbness and tingling, neuropathy, sciatic pain, any type of nerve pain that's going into your legs where they feel unsettled, where you feel like you just can't get comfortable. This is a big problem for a lot of people and why they can't sleep. Well, this is actually coming from your lower back. The lower back is the nerves that go into the lower extremities. So if you have disc degeneration, spinal subluxation, issues in the low back, or you're sleeping and you're off to your side or on your stomach extending your back, or you don't have a good supportive mattress and you're on your back and it flexes and now it's increasing the pressure on the discs, well, that's going to affect these nerves that are going down into your lower extremity. So you want to look at the very lowest part of the low back into the sacrum. That's what causes leg issues. That's the reason why we use things like spinal decompression and why we use the wobble disc and different types of stretching exercises to balance the low back, because that's exactly where those nerves go. So some of the common physiological reasons why people aren't sleeping actually stems from different levels of your spine, and you want to make sure that that's getting looked at to get to the root cause of what's going on. Because what happens is people will get diagnosed and then they'll take muscle relaxers, they'll take gabapentin, they'll take naproxen, they'll take all these other things to try to get them to sleep. Does anybody want to be taking a narcotic just to get yourself to go to sleep? No. And all those can be addictive. All those have side effects. Sleep medications are even worse, right? Sleep medications that actually put you to sleep. Have you ever taken a sleep medication and not fallen asleep? It is like, people do that for like drugs to take on their own because it totally messes with you. Like your brain is crazy. People go sleepwalking. People do so many things. It increases risk of suicide and depression and so many other things because it's messing with your brain chemistry and your physiology. It is not good for you at all in any way possible. But millions and millions of people are taking these just to get sleep, because we've all also had days where you're not sleeping and you're tired and you feel horrible and you're not yourself, and you don't want that either. And sometimes people will do things that they know are unhealthy because the alternative is that much worse. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can get it better naturally. And that's what's so amazing about the power of the chiropractic adjustment and why I love what it is that we do, because you can change neurology and physiology with even a single adjustment, right? You can do adjustments to decrease the sympathetic nervous system, which happens with an adjustment. So we can turn down that stress response, right? If you're having issues into your arms and hands, we can adjust the areas of the neck. If it's thoracic outlet syndrome, can be go through here. Lower back can be gone through here. Now, this isn't a quick fix, right? You don't get adjusted once and the problems are gone. It changes immediately physiologically, but it takes time for your body to catch up, especially if it's been going on for a long time. And most issues have been going on for years, sometimes decades. Because I found in doing this for almost 15 years now, typically the chiropractor isn't the first person you go when you're having a problem. Most people have been all over the place and tried so many other things, and this was like the last resort. And that's when they're coming in. We try to educate really well and prevent that, and then change that within families, which is why you see a lot of kids and younger people coming into the office. But most people, that's how they start. It's like, oh, I've been to every single doctor. I'm already doing all this stuff. Nothing's helped. Hopefully you can help me. And then a lot of times we do, and they start getting better. What it also does is it increases the parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic system, this is the system that helps regulate sleep. This is why when people start getting adjusted, they start sleeping better. Not even always knowing why. They're like, I don't know why, but I'm sleeping better. I'm waking up, I'm feeling more rested. I have more energy. Well, this is why, because it's turning down the sympathetic stress response and it's heightening the parasympathetic response, which is where sleep happens. And this affects, again, every physiologically part of your body. That's why chiropractic isn't for back pain. It's part of a lifestyle success strategy. It's something you should do for the rest of your life. I've been getting chiropractic since I was 16 years old, and I still get adjusted at least once a week minimum. That's like my minimum standard and part of my health, because I know how important it is to my brain and nervous system. If I'm having problems, I get adjusted more, but never less, because that's part of taking care of yourself. The reason why is because subluxation is so common and around us all the time. Subluxation is the main interference with that brain-body connection, and the number one thing that we focus on with chiropractic. And when you look at the causes of subluxation, it's stress. Physical, chemical, emotional stress, things that are around us all the time. Life is stressful. When you're constantly under stress, it causes subluxation. You have major stresses like car accidents, falls, broken bones, surgeries, major injuries, right? We've all had those throughout our life, and your body remembers all of that. It keeps the score. It still remembers when you fell off the jungle gym when you were 5 years old. It remembers that gymnastics accident you had when you were a teenager. It remembers that car accident you had back in your 20s. You may not always feel it, but your body remembers. If you didn't take care of it completely at the time it was done, which I find almost nobody does, because they don't understand it and nobody ever told them. They did the minimal to patch it up or nothing at all and just went on time. And then 20 years later, it catches up with you. It's like, man, why is my neck so degenerated, curved in the wrong direction? Well, it was that thing that happened 20 years ago that never got taken care of. And now you're dealing with the effects of that, right? That's why you don't want to just do the symptom relief model. You want to get that physiological function back. Another one is postural. Posture, especially device stress. So your head weighs 10 to 12 pounds, sometimes more, in a neutral posture. So your body's meant to hold up 10 to 12 pounds. That's what's normal. So if you look down just 15 degrees, 15 degrees is like this. So this is actually like good device posture, barely looking down, trying to pay attention. Over doubles, 27 pounds at just 15 degrees. Now you're not meant to take 27 pounds. And you can get away with that for a little while. But what if you did this every day? And let's be honest, most people aren't like this. When you look at somebody on their phone, what do they look like? They're over here, right? 45, 60 degrees. It's like this. Right? See a kid in the corner, they're like this. Right? That's what it looks like. Look up in the room in the wobble areas. What do you see? You see this. You see this. 45 degrees, 50 pounds, 60 pounds. Now your neck is definitely not designed to carry 60 pounds. And so what if you did that day in, day out? Does it make sense why you might be tight and tense? Yeah. Why over time you might get spinal degeneration and disc issues and nerve problems or headaches or shoulder or arm pain? That makes a lot of sense. But it's like most things. You do it once and it's not that big of a deal, right? You smoke one cigarette, you're not going to get lung cancer. But you start smoking cigarettes every day, we all know that leads to health problems. You go to McDonald's once, you're not going to get diabetes or heart disease, right? You're going to be fine. But if you start going to McDonald's a couple of days a week and that becomes part of your routine, well, eventually those things are showing up. It's the same way with your body, right? You sit here for 10 minutes on your phone like this, it's not going to cause neck degeneration. But you do this every day, day in and day out for years of your life, it absolutely will. And so that's where part of it is changing lifestyle habits. And that's why we do exams. That's why we do x-rays, right? There's actually 5 key things we look at to detect subluxation, both from the beginning and throughout progress. Number 1 is instrumentation. So this could be nerve scans, this could be foot scans, this could be any number of instruments that we use to measure stress in your body. Number 2 is motion and static palpation. So we actually look at how is your spine moving. In a normal situation, the joints of your body, especially your spine, should move freely without tension or pain in a full range of motion. Most people, it's like this, right? Can't bend over all the way, can't turn their head off to one side. And static palpation looks at the muscles. All the muscles around your spine should be relaxed, balanced. Most people, what is it? Tight, tense. One side's really rock hard and the other side's not working at all. Left side's really bad, right side's not. Left side's bad over here. It's an imbalance that was created over time, and this creates compensation patterns. That's why we also look at your posture, because posture is like a window into the spine. The spine should have a specific structure to have curves from the side like this, and it should be straight up and down. So if your head's tilted off to the side or your shoulders or pelvis is tilted, right, that's an indication of subluxation. If your posture's like this, or your pelvis is over here, or the back shifted way over here, that's an indication of subluxation. It's causing stress and damage to your spine and nervous system. And the most important is the x-ray. And this is what I tell people when they ask, like, well, who should I go see for a chiropractic if they're maybe out of the area, a friend or family member, they're moving away? I tell them to look for these things. Make sure your chiropractor does all of these things. They should be doing an exam. They should be doing x-rays. They should be measuring what's going on and having a plan for your care. If you're doing all those things, then you know you're getting functional level care. We're actually measuring progress over time. There's a plan for your health, right? But for those of you who maybe have been to chiropractic before you came to our office, typically you don't get any of these things. Sometimes you get nothing at all. It's just walk in, lay down, let's see what's going on, right? That's pain relief care. Now that can help with back pain, but it's not going to fix any of the things we talked about here today because it's not changing physiology, and typically you're not doing it often enough to where it actually makes a difference, right? If you just walked into the gym and said, I want to be more fit, and the trainer's like, well, come when you feel like it, and you went like once every other week, would you get more fit? Absolutely not. Every once in a while, you're going to have that super dedicated person that just takes it on their own and shows up 5 days a week and figures it out. But for the most part, that person's going to quit or not get results or whatever, right? But what if you went in and like, okay, let's assess where you are. Let's talk about your goals. Let's measure your body fat. Let's look at what you can do right now. And like, okay, what are your plans? Well, here's a 90-day plan of what we're going to do. Here's how you eat. Here's what you do. Show up 5 days a week. Do this and that. We'll reassess in 30 days to see how you're doing. You think you're going to make more progress? Absolutely, right? And as you stick with it, you're going to get more and more fit, and you're going to get healthier, and then it's easier to maintain a better level of health. But if you never go through that process of getting better and making changes, you're always going to be here doing this, wondering like, well, I guess I'm just not a fit person, or I'm not good at exercise, or whatever that may be. Because subluxation is not a back problem, it's a health problem. It's so important to understand that. So in your packet there's some resources we gave you guys. It breaks down the 5 essentials. I encourage you, anytime you have something going on in your life, look back to that sheet. Which area of the 5 essentials am I deficient in or could be better at? And then go to the spine. Look at the spine. Okay, I'm experiencing right now, thyroid problems or asthma, or I just got diagnosed with a heart condition, right? What's going on at T1 and T2 here? Is that area doing well? And make sure that that's being expressed. And we look at these things when there's issues. We'll go back like, well, yeah, look at your x-rays. Your spine should be straight, and it's like this in that area. You do have a problem, and it's still a problem, right? And that's not going to go away in 1 month or even 6 months. That could take years to restore some of that. So that's why we go back and look at these things and see, okay, first let's look at the source. Okay, I'm having a prostate issue. Well, let's look at the lower back. Yeah, there's degeneration of that lower back. There's been subluxation there for 2 decades. Well, it's going to take some time to get that working well again, but we know that that can improve. They did a study a long time ago where they did autopsies on hundreds and hundreds of bodies, and they looked at why did they die. They died of liver failure, they died of a heart attack, they died of whatever. And what they found was an almost a 98% correlation that that same level of their spine that regulated that organ or system was damaged. But you don't see that in medical research. You don't see that in brochures at the doctor's office. That's not on your insurance plan. But we know that's absolutely true. And the reason why is because chiropractors are the only doctors that are trained to detect and correct subluxation. That's it. And most don't even do it. And some of the key ways is all things we already talked about. None of the corrective care is ever going to be on your insurance. You can know that for sure, right? It's up to you to take care of it, like most things that are healthy for you, right? Is there too many things that are actually really good for you that are covered by your insurance? No. When you start thinking your medical insurance like your car insurance, you'll understand how to take care of it. Right? You don't go to the oil change and expect to tune up and say, oh, I got my Geico card here. Is this going to cover everything? And when the guy's like, no, you're not going to be surprised. Like, how come? That's not how it works. But when a tree falls on your car and you take it to the body shop, well, then maybe it gets taken care of, right? When you have a major catastrophe in your health and you go to the doctor, thank goodness you have insurance, because otherwise it would probably bankrupt you. And then there's a system for how to repair your broken leg that happened because you fell out of the tree. But when it comes to getting healthy, that's not on the plan. Just like car maintenance or any other type of maintenance in any other insurance is also not covered. Does your home insurance cover to change out your filters? No. To get your HVAC serviced? No. None of that stuff. But if there's a fire and your house burns down, well, then it's going to cover it, hopefully. Hopefully. Maybe not. But hopefully it does. And it's like that everywhere. So change the way you view and manage your health. Your insurance is not your health partner. It's your catastrophe plan that's there in case something major happens. Getting healthy and taking care of yourself, just like any other area of your life, that's up to you. And the more you invest in yourself, the more benefit you're going to get. So there's 3 key steps that we want to focus on to correct the underlying cause of why your body's under more stress than it needs to be and you're not sleeping well. Number 1 is lifestyle habits. We talked a lot about that today. What's your morning routine? What's your night routine, right? Are you getting exercise in? Are you eating well? Are you totally interfering with your sleep quality by your day-to-day habits? And then let's start changing those, right? Do we need help in a better nutrition plan? Do we need to work on our mindset? Do we need to get moving better? Do we need to start detoxing and minimizing stress, creating these habits? And that's what we're here to help for. We are your health guide through the process of changing these things. We have a full-time nutritionist here. We have health plans. We do workshops like this. We have hundreds of hours of content on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page. Like, all the stuff that you need to solve all these problems is here and available for you, and we can help you with it. Just make sure that you're asking and taking advantage of that. Number 2 is corrective chiropractic care. Right? If your spine and nervous system is not healthy, your body's not healthy. That's why it's so key to make sure you're getting adjusted, you're doing regular evaluations, you're on a health plan, not just when it hurts, not just when it's convenient, but consistently, because that's what's going to get you better, and that's what takes care of you. And then keep up with your spinal home care. Spinal home care is so key. Think of it like brushing your teeth, right? Pretty much everyone in here probably brushes your teeth on a regular basis, because at some point you learn that this was a healthy habit. You may not even know physiologically why, and I could tell you all the reasons, and this is not a talk for that specifically, but when you think about it, if you don't brush your teeth every single day, what builds up is bacteria. And the bacteria goes in and eventually will eat away and decay your teeth. And that creates cavities, that creates all kinds of other problems, right? Then you have to have teeth pulled and so on down the line. Well, think of subluxation the same way, right? Sitting at a desk all day creates decay in your spine. And over time, that cavity becomes spinal degeneration, disc degeneration, subluxation, tissue fibrosis, which leads to major health problems and becomes a real issue. You can prevent a lot of that, just like you can prevent many problems by brushing your teeth. If you brush and floss your teeth every day, you're probably not going to get cavities, you're probably not going to get tooth decay, gingivitis, and all these other things. Some people still do, and things happen for sure, just like your body. But if you do these things regularly, you're minimizing that. So here's some healthy habits that you want to focus on in addition to what we've already talked about. Number 1, focus on peace management techniques you do regularly, not just eliminate stress. Because we're not going to eliminate stress. You got to have strategies for how to take care of your body in times of stress, which we're going to go a lot into next month. All December is going to be all about stress. Next Wednesday, we're going to do a holiday stress day where we're going through all of these different types of habits, and all month we'll be sharing tips on how to minimize stress, which is this area here, our peace management, what I can say. How do we get your body working better? Get regular sleep. Just got to make this a priority. Make it a priority. It's scheduled. I go to bed at this time. I'm getting this amount of sleep. And make sure your sleep technology is good, right? If you don't have a good mattress, look at potentially doing something different. Now, BioPosture is not the only mattress out there, but it's one of the best that I found in terms of toxicity, cost, structure of your spine, and customer service. They do an amazing job, very affordable. If you want to learn more about it, let me know. I've been using this for years. I got it for my kids. I have a number of other patients that use it. It works really, really well. It helps you get a better night's sleep. We also have this QR code here. Does everybody know how a QR code works? Okay, so if you want to take out your phone and scan that, I have all kinds of resources too. Blue light blocking glasses, sleep technology, infrared saunas, natural home care and toxicity products, our YouTube channel, our website, all kinds of content, BioPosture, Hypervolt, basically all the resources that you would want for natural solutions is all right here on this QR code. Has those resources that you need. Take advantages and use the resources that are available. We're coming into the holiday season, and a lot of people end up spending money on things that really aren't going to improve the quality of your life at all, right? Mostly are consumer material type things that can have some momentary minimal benefit, but typically don't continue to add to the quality of your life. This is the time of year you want to invest in yourself as well, because the best gift you can give to anybody is be the best version of yourself. Have more energy, be healthier, live longer, show up more. Wouldn't your grandkids rather have you run out and play with them and be around an extra 5 years than get them another toy that they're going to play with for 2 weeks and forget about? Of course. It's so simple. But how many people are thinking about that this time of year? They're so stressed about all the other things that they need to do that they're forgetting what really matters, which is taking care of yourself and taking care of the people around you. So use the resources to be better this year so that everyone else around you gets the best version of you. That's the best gift you could ever give to anybody. We put together some specific sleep nutrients that help with sleep itself. So magnesium is one of the nutrients that really helps promote relaxation and better quality sleep. And also Zenbiome Sleep. This is helping with your gut microbiome that helps with the secretion of melatonin and reduction and stress hormones that interfere with sleep. So this is the sleep health bundle that we have available that you can take advantage of. And this is our Black Friday sale week. So we actually have everything on sale here in the office. If you're wanting to do detoxing, all the Cellcore products are there. If you need any therapies, those are all discounted. The immune health bundle, I feel like every day there's 3-4 people like, I'm sick, I can't come in. Right? This immune bundle actually helps prevent illness and strengthens your immune system. So there's resources, again, that help you get sick less often, get better sleep, help with your physical issues. Take advantage of these and focus your care not on pain relief, but on correction, on taking care of your body. And that's why we have some of these things here like spinal decompression. If you have disc degeneration, if you're getting nerve pain in your hands or arms, spinal decompression is a non-invasive, non-surgical way to reduce tension on your discs and your nerves. Has even shown to correct disc bulges and disc herniations on MRIs. Most of these people end up dealing with it, majorly medicating it, getting injections or surgeries. Right? Just because you've been diagnosed with a disc or nerve problem doesn't mean you're on the surgery block or have to get injections or pain meds the rest of your life. There is natural solutions like spinal decompression, things that we do here that can actually help. If you're dealing with tissue pain, if you're dealing with nerve compression, well, this can be improved through shockwave technology. We can actually break up damaged tissue, remove scar tissue, get your body able to release those entrapments, so that way you're freeing up nerves and other parts of your body. It can help reduce pain, can help with joint dysfunction. So there are resources available to help with your physical limitations that are interfering with your sleep and your quality of life. Also home care. Many of you have a home care that was recommended to you and the equipment, and hopefully you're doing it, but I find that most people aren't typically doing it as recommended. So just like your dentist would tell you, hey, you should be brushing and flossing your teeth every day, and like, okay, Miss Jones, looks like we need to do some more flossing, and we do a little bit more of the brushing there. Should be twice a day, not just once. Same thing with your home care. Like, you should be doing it consistently. If you do it every day, you're going to thank yourself for it. You're going to be able to do a lot more things you want to do for a lot longer. You don't just do it when your back hurts. You don't just do it every once in a while. You do it consistently. And when you really do it consistently, I promise you, you'll notice the benefits. You'll really see it. And when you feel better, doesn't mean you stop. It means you keep doing it. It's the work you do when you feel good that has the biggest benefit to your health. Always remember that. That's so key. So if your family isn't under care, why not? You see how important this is? From birth through the end of your life. If you want to be functioning optimally, you got to take care of your spine and nervous system. It's not just the people who have the severe pain or the major health problems that need chiropractic. Everybody who wants to be healthy needs chiropractic. So if you still have spouses, kids, friends, family, people who aren't under chiropractic care, encourage them, again, this holiday season, if they want to improve their health. You're going to be interacting with them and probably hear a lot of complaints about what's going on over the next month or so of, oh man, the headaches have been so bad. This sciatic pain, I can barely walk. I'm not sleeping. I just got diagnosed with this. I just got on 2 new medications. I guarantee you're going to hear it. You know you are, right? Are you just going to be like, oh, that's too bad? Or like, hey, have you thought about seeing a chiropractor? Because if you don't tell them, who will? Is their medical doctor going to tell them? Nope. Are they going to see an ad in the football game that says, go see your chiropractor? No. Nope. Absolutely not. Are they going to get an email from their insurance company about going to get their chiropractic checkup? No. What are they going to get? Flu shot? Get your COVID shot? Are you taking all your drugs? Are you getting this or that? That's what they're going to get. Have you gotten your physical this year so we can prescribe you something new? That's what they're going to get. And are they going to be healthier or sicker next year if they don't do anything different? Every single one of them. Totally. And then you're going to be, whose funeral are we going to? Who are we going to visit in the home this time? Who's going on hospice, right? You're seeing it. I've seen it in my own family. I've seen it with friends, family, even this week. I've seen that come up. Right? And that's not the result of what you did yesterday. It's the result of what you've been doing for a long time that led to that issue. And you guys are all changing your health future, but there's other people that rely on you to be able to do that too. And it starts in your own family. And a lot of people I find, they don't have their spouse coming in. They don't have their kids coming in. And that's a big issue. They need to be coming in if they really want to be healthy and the whole family unit wants to be healthy. And here's a plan that you can do, 30 days. If you do this in the next 30 days, I can guarantee you, you're going to be sleeping better. And these are simple things that everybody can do. Number 1, unplug 30 minutes before bed. 30 minutes. No phone, no TV, no technology. Turn it off. That's it. Just 30 minutes. Not the whole day, 30 minutes. Black out your sleep sanctuary or use a sleep mask, okay? Sometimes you can't always black out everything. I'm not telling you go get $10,000 of curtains and whatever else. You don't got to do that, but at least get a sleep mask. I bought these on Amazon for like $5 a piece, right? Not expensive, easy to do. Try to wake up at the same time each morning. Pick up a time, whatever that may be, and stick with it. Monday through Sunday. Not Monday through Thursday, not sleep in on my day off, the whole time. For 30 days to reset your circadian rhythm. Pick a time. I'm going to get up at 7 for the next 30 days and stick with it. Lower the bedroom temperature if you haven't done that already. Make your bed every morning because we know that's going to increase the quality of your sleep. So right when you wake up, make the bed. There's actually a lot of benefits I found from this. Eliminate caffeine. That's a tougher one for a lot of people. At least minimize it to no more than 1 cup of coffee per day, okay? So that's maybe you have 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I know some people are always going to freak out. If I told my wife this, she would totally freak out on me. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. You know who those people are. Maybe that's you in your life. Like, I don't operate until I have my first cup of coffee, which is a sign you're not getting good sleep, by the way. But at least 1 cup of coffee. Fair enough? No runs to the Starbucks, no extra espresso in the middle of the day, no coffee drinks, whatever. No sugar or alcohol within 2 hours of bedtime. Exercise at least 10 minutes a day. And this isn't got to be a vigorous at the gym. This could even be a walk. This could be something simple, but at least 10 minutes every single day. This would be a high benefit too. Take the magnesium and Zen Biome Sleep. I guarantee you're going to be sleeping better starting to do this. Both of these are highly, highly effective in this area. And make sure you're getting adjusted. So we're taking care of the spine and nervous system. So do these things for the next 30 days. And I'd love to hear about how much better that you're sleeping. And if you know anybody else who's struggling with sleep, and I know you do, because it's 1 out of 3 people, and if you know at least 3 people in your life, which I'm sure every one of you do, you know people who aren't sleeping well. I guarantee it. Here's a key one. What happens if you take everything you learned today and you do nothing? Nothing happens. Procrastination is the thief of health. There's 3 reasons why most people are not healthy. Number 1 is they don't have the right information. Right? And we talked about that today. We're really big on information, and there's no information shortage in the world. Right? Now, especially with AI, you can ask anything and get all the information you need at the drop of a hat. Number 2 is that people don't take responsibility. So it's like, well, it's not my problem. It's not up to me. I can't do it. Whatever reason, right? They're putting excuses, barriers, limitations. I'm too busy. I can't afford it. I don't have the time. I've tried before and it didn't work out, right? You're not taking responsibility for your situation. But the most important one, number 3, is that you don't take action. You don't take action. You sit on it. Well, it's the holidays. Well, I got Thanksgiving this week, so I'm going to start the 30-day sleep plan next week. Right? But are you going to start next week? No, something else is going to come up. Oh, I got this going on. Work's really busy right now. I got a deadline. The grandkids are over. Whatever it is, nope, I'll start after the holidays. I'll start in January. What happens in January? Something else comes up. You're not going to do it. You're not. If you procrastinate, it's going to keep being the same story and the same issue over and over again, right? Until you commit to, I'm doing something different. So my best advice for you, if you really want to see a difference, is start today. Start today, right? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. Research shows if you take action on what you learn immediately, the success rate is over 80% higher than if you wait to do it later. 80% change in success by that one simple thing. Take action today. Take action today and you will get the results that you want. Wait till tomorrow or next week or next month or never, and you're going to still be suffering with the same issues and same problems, right? Just imagine for a second, visualize what your life would be like when you're fixing the root cause of your problems. When you're no longer treating or medicating the issue, you're no longer relying on your next diagnosis or doctor's appointment to find out what's going on. You're starting to finally feel good again. Feel like yourself. More energy, less pain, better function, no health issues, no medication. Like, what does that version of you look like? And how much better do you show up at every single thing that you do when you're the best version of yourself, right? Having the tools and resources to maintain your health once you're feeling good. Because once you're good, you want to stay good, right? How many people get to a point and then just drop right back down? That's because they don't keep doing the stuff, because your identity of being a healthy person never changes. You're still the same person doing different things, and that's not sustainable. And this is key to any area of your life. You start making more money, but you still think you're over here. You're going to find a way to lose the money. You get a great job or a great relationship, but you're still this person over here. You're going to find a way to sabotage it. You're going to do the same thing to your health. If you still think you're an unhealthy, sick person and you have healthy habits, eventually you're going to quit doing that too and go right back to being that unhealthy, sick person because that's still your identity. So part of this is changing who you are and then maintaining that progress, right? And most importantly, that can begin today. That can start today. You get to decide. So where you go from here is all up to you. We're here as your guide, your resource. We have all these things here. We have chiropractic, we have the resources, we have the nutrition, we have the guidance, the plan. Every single thing is here to help you, your family, everybody you know, live a healthier life through the end of this year and into next year. It's just all about what is the action that you're going to take, how far are you going to go with it, and how long are you going to stick with it. And I hope you stick with it long term because that's where the real benefits come from. This is what I've been doing for my life for so many years, and it's been such a great blessing. And unfortunately, I see so many people around me that it's not like that. It's not. I see their lives going downhill. My uncle just passed away from major health issues. You know, my grandma, has Alzheimer's now and other problems. My dad's gone. My grandpa's gone. My other grandpa passed away. Friends and family are passing away. A good mentor of mine just had a heart attack recently. Like, it's happening all around us, and you look at like what were their habits, and for most of them, not good. It wasn't good. It wasn't a surprise. It was a slow demise for 90% of them. Right? It's just like time to do something different. And that's really what it's all about. That's why we're so passionate about things. And that's why, you know, we encourage you guys so much to make these changes and tell other people and, you know, really start living your life this way because it does make a difference and your life will change. And that's our greatest hope for everybody is that, you know, you take empowerment and control of your health and your life and that we're just the guide, right? You're the hero of your journey. We're just helping you along the way. That's really how we look at it as resources. That's why we do sales like this. That's why we do talks like this. And we're going to do a lot more. So look forward to next month on how to help create health peace management techniques and less stress, better health, holiday season, time where most people are sick, most hospital visits, highest rate of depression, right? Highest weight gain this time of year. Doesn't have to be that way. That's the old you. That's your past. That's not your future, right? Let's change today. Let's make a difference. Let's see those benefits in health, and let's keep that going. Finish this year strong, start next year even stronger. Sound good? Yes. All right, let's do it.